Hi, my name is Kareem, and I'm the IT Community Manager at Rippling. With over a decade of experience in IT and security, I'm here to help Rippling IT admins navigate the ever-changing world of IT. Today, we have Zafar Karani, who is an IT product lead at Rippling, who will demo and discuss two exciting new features we're adding to Rippling IT called IT Management and Activity Log. Zafar, before we begin, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kareem. So, hi everyone. My name is Zafar Karani. I am a product lead here at Rippling. I'm responsible for our devices suite of products. And I've been building products my entire career. Specifically been building software for IT administrators for 6 years. And 4 of those years have been at Rippling, where it's been really fun to help folks like you handle more and more IT administration efficiently and comprehensively, really with the goal of making your lives easier. One thing that I wanted to mention about a key part of our development process, we use our own products, and that's really to ensure that what we release to our customers is useful and of high quality. And so, more specifically, what that means is that all of our device administration internally, from purchasing new computers to handling broken or damaged devices to rolling out configurations, security policies, etc., all of that is handled by me. So in other words, I am the IT administrator that handles device administration for our entire company. And that is alongside my job as a product lead here. And quite frankly, the only way I'm able to do this is because of the Rippling product, right? Like it greatly reduces the amount of time that's required to handle device administration. And so I'm able to get away with spending only a few hours per week on it while still keeping devices secure and still ensuring employees can be productive. Otherwise, it would take all my time. So really looking forward to sharing these features with you today.
Awesome. Well, that's huge. Zafar, can you tell us a little bit about IT management and activity log?
Yeah, and I think the best way to do that is to kind of share some visuals that I think will help you understand a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into presentation mode here, and hopefully you can see my screen. Oh, actually, there we go. So let's start with IT management. So IT management just went live last week, and it is an app that provides a single place to view all your IT assets and app access across your entire workforce. So you no longer have to switch between multiple different views to get a complete picture for any one person. The goal here is that in one view, you can see what device is assigned to a particular person, any in-progress device orders, any third-party apps that are provisioned to them, and you can even take certain actions, such as resetting two-factor devices, blocking rippling access, all of that from the same view. The other thing that IT management provides is it allows admins to set policies to control the IT parts of key HR flows, such as hiring and offboarding. And one of the things we really pride ourselves on is the automation that we provide from an employee lifecycle perspective, so that it really saves you time as an IT administrator. But we also want to make sure that you have the control you need to make sure that people are getting what they should get and not getting what they should not get. So for example, if a hiring manager chooses a device for a new hire that exceeds your budget, you can have that trigger an approval policy here that then routes an approval request to you. And from that request, you can choose to approve it or to change the device that is ordered to something less expensive and perhaps more appropriate. So that's a little bit about IT management, and we'll dive into a demo soon so you can see more specifically what it looks like. And then the second feature that I'm excited to show you is an updated activity log that also went live last week. And this log provides several events across all of IT. Some of you may know that this activity log has actually been around for a little while, but it only provided access and authentication events. Now it includes dozens of device events as well. And why is this important? It's important because if you're trying to understand what has happened because of an incident or a concern that you might have, you shouldn't have to go to multiple places and cobble together logs from multiple different sources in order to understand what happened, right? The IT activity log here allows you to go to a single place and get a clear view of what's happened from an IT perspective for any employee for any device, for any app. And so really excited to share that as well.
Awesome. That's huge. Um, Being able to have one panel to be able to investigate and do all your needs there and resolve all your issues is huge. What inspired the development of IT management and activity log?
It was really it was a couple things. The first thing is like feedback from our customers, and we take feedback really, really seriously. So I think many of our customers really liked um, the automation that Rippling provides, because you no longer have to go and do things manually, like setting up a device for someone or making sure they have the right app access provision for them. And the more folks that are being hired, the more folks that are leaving the company, the more burden it places on IT administrators to do all this work. So they really liked the fact that we had this automation. But even if you set policies in Rippling to specify what kind of devices people can purchase and what apps get provisioned to folks, and there are always exceptions. And so we were hearing a lot from folks that said, like, look, like the automation is great and all, but I really want more control. And I totally understand. Like myself as one of the IT admins at Rippling that's doing all the device administration, I get it. And so when we heard that feedback that said, look, I want more control, what we tried to do is find a way to provide that control without diminishing the efficiency from the automation that comes with Rippling. And I think what we ended up producing is something that hopefully marries control and automation and really allows the customer, the IT administrator, to choose where on that spectrum they want to be.
Awesome. And this is a great question for you. So, as an IT admin at Rippling and for Rippling, um, what are you hoping, or what have you solved, I should say, with IT management and activity log?
Well, I actually use these features today myself. So with IT management, I use it to check and see if an employee has what they need. So I use the people page quite a lot, and you'll see what I mean when I show it to you. But there's one page where you can see exactly what they have, from a device to orders for device to apps provisioned for them. Um, and I also use the approval capability. So I'll also show this, but I use it specifically to ensure that hiring managers don't make the wrong choice when they're assigning a device for an employee, or when they're unassigning a device for an employee, and also for application access to make sure that there isn't anything that's outside of kind of what I've set up for access rules. Um, and that's really helpful for me, because in the past, sometimes things would happen where, oh, it's like, oh my goodness, they ordered something that I wouldn't have actually wanted, but I needed to have that device available to order for other situations. Okay, like I could have, if I had had this feature at that time, I wouldn't have had to then go and fix it after the fact. Now it alerts me, the system alerts me, and I can go and make sure that I fix the device ordered in this case before anything gets sent to the new hire.
Awesome. Well, that's super cool. Great. Being able to save a lot of time and huge when those mistakes that are super small but end up becoming mountains. But can save the admins a lot of time. That's great. Um, this is all really exciting. Zalfir, can we jump into the demo and show us a little bit what you've been talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will share my screen once more.
Cool.
So here's the Rippling dashboard. And so I just started here to give you a sense of where all this lives. So if I go to the IT section on the left-hand nav, I can see this new app called IT Management. So I'm going to go ahead and click into that. And the first thing I see is a people page. And on this people page, let's take a look at this employee here. Okay. So I can see when this employee last logged into Rippling. I can see if MFA is enabled. I can see what assigned device this employee has. So in this case, he has a 2021 MacBook Pro. If I click into that device, I can get a sense on the details of that device. I can see the specifications for it. I can also take actions like locking, wiping, resetting the password. So all the MDM capabilities are available right there. I can also see any open device orders for him. So if I click on the device order, I can see that there is an order placed and it has not yet been fulfilled. And I can see any apps that are available that this person has access to, both Rippling apps and also third-party apps. I can see some critical HR data that might be very valuable if this person is a new hire or is going to be leaving the company soon. And I can even take actions such as, resetting two-factor devices, resetting Rippling sign-in attempts, blocking access, etc. The other thing that I can do from here is I can click on this row and get taken to the employee's profile page. And this provides a lot of rich data about this employee, who he is, where he works, his manager is, all this information. And this information is, some of it can be sensitive, right? But Rippling has field level permissions. So I'm only going to see what I'm permitted to see. So if I'm not allowed to see some sensitive information, it won't show here, because a super administrator can very granularly control exactly what fields I'm allowed to see and what I'm not allowed to see. So that's the people page for you. And I think the critical piece to note here is that this really brings together identity and access management and MDM into one view. So you shouldn't have to go to multiple different places to get a sense on what your employee has. You should just be able to know right from one single pane of glass. And I think that's what this provides our customers. The second piece I'd love to show you is policies. So if I come to the policies page here, I can see that we have policies for devices, apps, and RPass, which is our password management tool. I've already created an approval policy for device assignment, and let's dig into this in a little bit more detail so you can see what it looks like. If I go and edit this one, we can see exactly what I've set up. So I've set up a policy to ensure that device purchases for non-engineers are within budget. And, this is just an example policy, but you could, for example, say that, your engineers at the company need more highly spec'd devices because they're, running their development environments and whatnot. And that your folks that are not engineers don't actually need devices with an enormous amount of memory. And so it shouldn't be nearly as expensive. Now here, I've set this up such that anyone who hires an employee, if they purchase a new device for that employee in the hire flow, if the price of that order is greater than $2,000, and if the department for that employee or that new hire is anything except engineering, then it's going to create an approval request and it's going to require approval from me. Let me go and edit this approval step so we can see a little more detail. I've included myself in the approval chain. I've also included the employee's business partner. I'm just going to delete this so you can see how you can put that in here. You can be really granular here, right? I can say business partner because the employee likely has an IT business partner and I don't know who it is. But once I choose this, I can select, I want it to be the IT business partner here that approves this, insert it. And now, based on who the employee is and the department and the team, et cetera, if I've set up business partners in another part of Rippling, then this approval request will get automatically routed to the correct IT administrator. And I can say that, either everyone must approve. So in this case, I would have to approve, or one person must approve. So it could be me, or it could be the employee's IT business partner. So that's a little bit about approval policies. I'll exit this. There are approval policies for devices on assignment too, for example. Like I could say that I want all devices for offboarding employees to be locked or wiped. And if that's not the case, then an approval request comes to me so I can see what the hiring manager selected and go and edit that if I so choose. Likewise, I can set policies for apps and for RPass access to ensure that the correct apps are provisioned or deprovisioned for employees during hiring or offboarding. Let's go take a look at some of these requests that then come through if an approval policy is triggered. For example, I can see here that there is a request for assigning and ordering a device for Gloria Chen, who is a new hire. If I click into this, I can see a little bit more detail about what this is. I can see her start date is August 12th. I can see that the cost of her item here, in this case, it's an Apple MacBook Pro 16-inch, is $34.99. It was requested on August 1st. And, that this device is going to get sent to her home address and it's going to require signature upon delivery. Well, that's all great, except for the fact that this device is $34.99, and my approval policy stated that if a device is ordered for someone who is not an engineer, this person's a sales manager, then over $2,000 is just too expensive. So, in this case, I'm not going to approve this. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and edit this. I'm going to choose another device for Gloria. So I'll scroll down and find the device that the hiring manager selected. I'll deselect it. I'll choose this $1,800 device instead because I think this is actually quite appropriate for Gloria. It looks like it has 16 gigs of RAM, an M3 processor, 512 gigs of hard drive space. This is good enough. So that's selected now. I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'm still fine with shipping it to our home address and requiring a signature. Those are all good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and place this order and confirm it. Now what the system does is it takes me back to that approval request. It shows that it's been approved, and it shows the updated device that was selected, which is the one that I just selected. So that's great. Now the approval request is no longer needs my review. It's been reviewed. It's now in this tab here for Gloria Chen, and we're good to go. Now you'll see some other requests here. For example, granting Joe Smith access to 8 apps, right? So this functionality works for assigning and ordering a device, for unassigning and retrieving a device, for granting access to apps or updating access to apps, and likewise for any RPass items from our password management tool. So that's a little bit about what IT management provides, really kind of aiming at bringing together identity and access management and device management into a more cohesive experience and allowing admins to decide where on that spectrum of automation and control they're most comfortable with. The other feature that I'd love to share with you is the activity log. So if I come here to Tools on the left-hand nav, I can click on Activity Log. Now, as I mentioned before, this activity log has been in Rippling for quite some time, but it only included access and authentication events. It now includes a bunch of device events also. And you can see that just by scrolling through all these events here. There are events about sign-ins. There are events about, a device assignment completed. And there's also external SSO sign-ins to third-party apps. And that's all in this one dashboard. You can change the date range if you like. You can download the data as either a CSV or a JSON. You can filter by the event type, of which there are many, many event types. You can filter by the app, of which there are many apps. You can also use the search to see what's happened for a particular employee. So if I put myself in here in the search bar, I can see events where I've signed into Rippling, I've initiated a device assignment for a particular employee and his device. I've signed out of Rippling, and all of these events, if I click into them, have more detail. For example, for this device assignment, it looks like I went and assigned this device to this employee, and this was the device here. And I can see more detail about the employee and the device, and even the detail about the location on where that happened. Now, the goal here with this kind of log is to prevent the IT administrator from having to cobble together all this information from different sources in order to create an understanding of what's happened in the past. If you're investigating something like a suspicious activity or an incident, or whatever it might be, you should just be able to get the information you need very, very quickly from one view. And I think by merging together identity and access type of events with these device events, it will give IT administrators a much more holistic view in one place. So that's the goal there. Those are the two features. Really excited about them. Again, we launched these last week, and there's more to come along these lines in the similar vein to help provide IT administrators with a really holistic experience on Rippling.
Awesome. Thanks, Yuza, for sharing. You took the words out of my mouth. Definitely getting a holistic view of what's really happening across the spectrum of IT management. It's really, really cool. Super powerful. Are there any special special permissions or any additional permissions that IT admins need to access IT management activity log?
Yeah. So an IT administrator will need permission to the app. So there is the ability to grant access to the app from the permissions tool in Rippling. And so you definitely want that. And as long as you've purchased either the device management SKU or the app management SKU, or you should have access to that to the IT management app as long as you've got the permission to see it.
Awesome. And are there any future additions or expansions for IT management in activity log? Um, I'm I'm personally very curious if you would be able to do actions from the activity log, and other cool automation pieces, um, possibly.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple. So let's talk about each of them separately. So we can start with activity log. So with activity log, I think there's a few different paths to go down. One is getting even more data to show up in that activity log, even more events than we already have. Um, and again, that's going to be informed by customer feedback. But the more that we can provide, the better the picture of an understanding of what happened that you can form as a customer, right? So I think that's important. The other piece that's important is kind of along the lines of what you said. Like, it's great that you can do this investigation and get an understanding of what happened, but you may also want to take action on it, and you may want the system to automatically take action on certain things. So there is work going into thinking through how to do that, especially because we have a deep understanding of all the applications people are using, um, a deep understanding about the device. We have MDM capabilities. We also have a deep understanding about the employee and organizational context. So there's a lot that we can automate if the customer is comfortable with that. But yes, that is part of our plan as we build out the activity log more and more. Um, on the IT management front, we're offering a lot of control here by creating approval requests and allowing you to set approval policies. But we'd like to expand that such that anyone who is providing app access or deprovisioning app access or assigning or retrieving a device, even outside of the hiring and offboarding flows, those things should route through these approval policies as well. So we plan to add that capability. We also plan to add some more analytics in that IT management app, so you can get a very quick sense on problem spots, areas you should take a look at. And again, this would be holistic across identity and access management and device management. So those are just a couple of the areas that we plan to expand in, and there'll be more to come in addition to that.
Awesome. Super exciting. And exciting times for on the road for Rippling and these new features. So, thank you again, Zafar, for your time, your insights. Are there any last remarks that you'd like to share with the community?
I mentioned a little bit about customer feedback earlier on, and I just want to emphasize that we really do take customer feedback seriously. It matters a lot to us. It significantly influences our roadmap. Um, so this is an example, right? These features that I've shared with you right now, they are directly coming from customer feedback. So keep it coming. Don't be shy. We really appreciate everything that you have to say. And thank you for watching.
Thank you again. And thank you everyone for attending and watching, and have a great one. Bye.